Hi and welcome to this video. I've been wanting to do this for a few days, but I've not been well. Had a sort of bad throat. I was clearing a lot of stuff in this energy right now, so I've managed to get this done today, and I wanted to get this done before I go on holiday because I felt it was important and it needed to be talked about. Now, for those that don't know me very well, my name is Lynn Morris. I'm a spiritual teacher, way shower, mentor, coach. I'm an intuitive and empath, and I'm also an author of 3 books, and I've been in this teaching arena, spiritual teaching and coaching and mentoring for 10 years. All right, and I've got a lot of experience of working with many women and men on the spiritual pathways. I've got experiences of teaching, healing, workshops, ascension workshops. Very much now my work is centered on empowerment of women, female, divine feminine souls, and very much work with the Divine Mother and the galactic goddess consciousness, and I work also with Archangel Metatron and the Angelic Kingdom and Ascended Masters as well, and I predominantly work with women on empowerment and releasing them from barriers to their success and they're stepping up into their mission and higher purpose for life and stepping into their leadership roles. Now, this subject I'm going to start talking about can be quite delicate for some people. Some people may get triggered by this, and I understand that. But I have very direct experience of this. Therefore, I want to talk about it because it's important. And it crops up more and more in my work and what I do teaching women how to empower and liberate themselves on a soul level energetically, all right, and also on a mindset as well level to obtain self-mastery. Now, alien abduction, what I mean that when people report that they've had their consciousness taken by an alien force or consciousness, in the normal media and normal muggles world, people will consider that they're crazy or they're nutters, or they've got, they're in a land of fancy, or when maybe hypnotherapists that regress people that say they've been taken on spacecraft or abducted, quite often there is people think that people are making up false memories or false recollections. I don't believe that for one moment. I'll tell you a story. Way back when I woke up in 2009, I had quite a rapid, fast-tracked awakening. I was 44 years old. It was quite deep, a bit scary, to be honest. Everything happened so fast for me. And by 2010, I was training to be an angelic Reiki practitioner. I was doing healing, and rapidly I was connecting with the angelics and the Ascended Masters. I went through to 2011, started working on opening my upper chakras, my causal chakra properly, my soul star, and starting to connect with the galactic consciousness. I'm a star seed, so I have connections to the Pleiades. Now, I got experience teaching. I was getting on all right. I brought my own healing system forwards called karmic debris extraction, infinite healing, doing lots of amazing work, teaching, workshops, really getting some experience, but still quite early on, really on my spiritual journey, if you think about it, because I'd only woken up in 2009. It got to the beginning of 2012 and something happened to me. I had been down to Glastonbury with my son for the day. I'd walked around a few different shops, different things. I'd felt a bit weird driving from Glastonbury to another place outside of Glastonbury. Felt a bit weird just quickly and felt, what is that? But didn't know. Everything was alright that evening. Then the next morning, my husband got up for work at 6 o'clock in the morning and went in the bathroom, got ready and left and said goodbye to me because he was starting early. And the next thing I know, I'd fallen asleep. And I was taken, my consciousness was taken onto a spacecraft. And I was very much told that I had to have something put in me because the light beings that I was working with wanted to track me. Now that's not normal, is it? That's not normal. At the time, remember, part of me is gone. My physical body is in the house, but my consciousness has been taken, and I seemed to be gone for hours. In fact, it was 10 minutes. So when I woke up, I literally felt like I'd been dropped in my body. And you wake up with a start, and suddenly I knew immediately I'd been taken somewhere. I felt spaced out, weird, dizzy. I felt nauseous. I felt sick. I got up, came downstairs, started crying, called my angels, and I could feel them, but I wasn't getting any answers. I called a friend who was a very powerful healer and intuitive, who was assisting me there and then, and said she felt like I'd been attacked or something had happened to me. It was a horrible experience. It traumatized me, folks. It traumatized me. And I wasn't standing in my full power then. I didn't have all of my power back. I didn't know who I was really. And I was naive. And after that, they would come every full moon, and they would try and take my consciousness, and I would be fighting them all night. And I would pull everything in that I could. Galactic Federation of Light, this and that. Yeah, and they would still try and come for me. So it got to about the April, and I was getting paranoid about the full moon. Because every time the full moon came, I was in trouble. So, it was getting a little bit like, oh, this has got to stop. So I got a very distinct feeling that I needed to let them take me next time. And that I was then to call in Source and deal with it. Like almost face them, like a duel, face them. Because it was more scary to think I was being taken than to be taken. Do you see what I'm saying? So very bravely, and I was brave, I feel, I let them take me that night in April. And I was praying as they were taking me, because I could almost feel they were taking me there and then, that Source would come with me. And when I got there, I said to them, I remember saying to them, come to the light. Come to the light. This is not going to end good, for you. Come to the light. And they wouldn't. They were laughing at me, actually. And I said, come to the light. And they wouldn't. And then, the next thing I knew, I woke up back in my body. And I had confirmation that nothing had happened to me. And that I'd come straight back. So it was almost like they couldn't touch me, as I was calling Source and saying that I did not agree to it. Now, interestingly, that ended then for me, I thought. And what was interesting, on my first abduction, my dad was in the queue, as I saw in my memories. my dad, my uncle, and a few other people that I recognised throughout my lifetime were in that queue, like queuing to go in or queuing to come out. Now that worried me. Why was my dad in the queue with my uncle and others that I recognised? One was working with me a few years earlier in a hospital. One was from, I was a teenager. Like, what is this about? Fast forward from 2012, the last time I have any conscious memory of being taken, to 2018, and over those years I've grown as a spiritual teacher, you know, an author, lots of experiences to tell you, really come into my power a lot more, healed a lot of aspects of myself, still concerned about what was all that about. I need to sort it out. What I didn't tell you is they'd already I had to sort my dad out at the time in 2012 because I could feel he had an implant in, and we had to take that out. And also I had an implant put in me that time in my wrist, and that was taken out by the Galactic Federation of Light. I didn't think I was implanted again. I didn't think there was anything there because I was told there wasn't. It gets to 2018 and I have been ill and I've gone to Spain. It gets to 2018 and I'm not feeling very well, and I'm having a few problems with my health. And we get to later on in 2018, I start to dig into my health and why I've got this issue. And my dad crops up again, and that uncle cropped up again. What's this about? We get to the beginning of 2019 and I go to Spain for 7-8 weeks on sabbatical to rest, recover, get my health back, take a break on my work and see where I'm going with my work. I could feel a change was coming. And while I was there, it all kicked off again. I got there and within a few days I could feel the presence of like an alien consciousness around me that wasn't friendly, put it that way. Now I am very good at looking after my energetic field, feeling, you know, standing in my integrity, protecting my field, but it felt very like it was destiny. It was like there was something was finishing up. There was a guy beneath me 3 floors down that was a bit of a drunk, and he would end up on the balcony drunk. You'd see him from below sometimes. And I just had this insight one day looking at him on the balcony that he was having his consciousness taken while he was drunk. That worried me. I thought, oh, here we go. Right, what's going on? Anyway, one particular night, they tried to take me again. And it was stopped by the Galactic Federation of Light. It was interfered and they couldn't do it, right? And I'd asked the question, what is this about? It finally came to be revealed that my dad and mother had been abducted when they were in their 20s, late 20s, early 30s, across a Yorkshire moor, way back in the 50s, when and I remember them telling me they saw a spacecraft when I was a little girl. I remember them telling me they saw a spaceship. They never said they were missing any time. They never said anything, but I believe they were taken on that moor. And what happened was, it was almost like an agreement was made under duress, or they were tricked into it to continue to have their consciousness taken. And that agreement passed down to me. And that started up when I was a young girl, as a small little girl. Lots of, you know, it's a big long story and it would take me hours to tell you the whole thing. Trying to cut it all short, I was a little girl and something traumatic happened to me when I was about 5 years old, or 4 years old. And it's connected to this. It's connected to the spacecraft and being taken the first time, right? and that's connected to my dad because my dad was being taken and my uncle also was being taken, all right, and others around them. So that is an ancestral contract, and that contract passed down to me as a light worker and starseed. Now evidently I'm there to clear that up and sort it, which I have done. It was when I got home from Spain and I was lying in bed about a week after I'd come back. I was in that sort of, you know, semi-awake, semi-asleep stage when I get the urge to do a decree. So I did a decree to clear my levels of consciousness. So I did a decree to say I do not give permission for myself to be taken or my consciousness to be taken. I withdraw all permission. Yeah, I'm a sovereign being. I've already done my declaration of sovereignty, but I had to like hone in on the specific subject of consciousness. As soon as I did that, I remember doing it and saying it 3 times. Immediately I was asleep and a spacecraft arrived and loads of people got out, including my mum and dad, me, and other people around, even someone I've been married to before, got out, and they were saying that the contract was broken and ended, and then they flew off. It was the most bizarre thing. It didn't feel scary. It didn't feel like, you know, they weren't agreeing. It was more like, yes, it's all ended, it's gone, it's finished, it's kaput. I haven't had any trouble since. Now, interestingly, I have had lots of women I've mentored and worked with that may be having the same trouble. But this is for all light workers and all starseeds, whether you're a man or a woman. There is something specifically going on in regards to consciousness right now, and I do believe that there are many light workers and starseeds that have been hobbled by these contracts that their parents are running, or they've picked it up without realizing it. So that's why I'm talking about it, because I want you to be aware. Now, there are some things that are signals that you... Now, I'm not spreading fear. I don't do fear. I'm not spreading fear. I want you to be informed. I want you to be in your self-mastery. And as a people on the ascension pathway, walking towards ascended mastership, we have to take responsibility for our energetic fields. And we have to take responsibility for who is taking or affecting our consciousness. And this could be just something that you need to hear that will help you break this. And this could be affecting you in a lot of ways, and I'm going to talk about it, right? So this is the signs that I feel that you may be, if something's going on. You could have delays in your ability to focus and see the bigger picture for your light work. You may have problems with clarity, and you may feel that everything's hazy and foggy and like you're wandering around in the fog all the time. You could feel like you're spaced out sometimes, or trancy, without initiating it. Like you haven't initiated it, you haven't started meditating, you haven't done anything, but suddenly you feel spaced out. It may happen a lot in the morning when you wake up, or during the night time. You may have dreams of UFOs, or people in spacecraft, or people taking you to spacecraft, or you being in unusual journeys above the earth. That is quite common sometimes for starseeds and light workers, but quite often we may feel that's normal for our galactic heritage, but make sure you're hanging around with the right galactics. A feeling of being watched, or a fear of anything UFO related. This could be another trigger. Unexplained bruises on your body, or feeling energetically drained, or feel like you're missing time. Another thing, what is maybe a symptom of it, is feeling like part of you is not in your body. Especially when you wake up in the morning, feeling like there's part of you missing. Or as I say, you feel like your life force has been drained, and power. Now, a few things you can do. I'm going to attach to this video a decree for clearing your levels of consciousness. And you need to say it 3 times out loud, standing up in your power, standing in your might. Call in, it says on it, but call in your higher self. Call in your soul guides. Call in Source to witness this. Call in the Galactic Federation of Light and Commander Astral to witness this, and the Ascended Masters, as you clear those levels of consciousness, alright, with that decree. Also, after that, it's a really good idea to call back your power. So when you've done your decree, and you've done that 3 times out loud, one after the other, very important, you must do it 3 times. It breaks on the 3rd time, not the 2nd or the 1st, the 3rd, the sacred number of 3. So 3 times. On the 3rd time it breaks. You may feel resistance to saying it. You may feel a rising of fear or panic coming up inside of you as you start to do it, because this could be related to them and they're trying to block you from doing it. Another thing, afterwards you can call back your power. You do that by saying, I call back my power from any being that has taken my power and consciousness without my permission. If you've taken my power, return it now for my highest good, and the power will return. You'll feel it coming in through the crown chakra. It may come into your solar plexus. It may come into your heart. Wherever you feel your chakras have been affected by it. Also, call back your light and your soul gifts and abilities. Call back your aspects of self. How do you do that? Call them. I call back all aspects of self that need to be with me, that are separated. Or I call back the aspects of self they have taken or may have taken. Then you're pulling back maybe an aspect of yourself that's still there. That could give you the feeling of being spaced out or trancy. Right? Very important. We don't do enough questioning about when we feel like this, what it means. Right? These things should help you to break that contract and break that cycle. Also, in the decree, it mentions the ancestral cycle. So it's mentioning it on behalf of your family and you doing it on behalf of your family. If you can get your family members to do it, if you feel they're connected to it, do it. Get them to connect and do it themselves. If they are not really into it, or you feel like that wouldn't go down very well, don't worry. But make sure you do it. Make sure you do it. Now, implants. In the decree is a decree. In the decree, it mentions the implants and they should be removed and dissolved. What you can do is call forwards Commander Ashtar and the etheric implant removal team. There is a team. The etheric removal implant team. They will come if you call them, and they will ask them to scan your body completely and show you where your implants are. Then ask them to remove those implants in the safest way possible for you and your energy field and matrix. And they will do. And they will take them, dissolve them, and take them off planet. So there you go. That's a complete system for taking out and clearing your levels of consciousness. This also can affect you not only with if you're not having your consciousness taken by sort of an alien force, which may not be of 100% pure light. Remember, there is many shades between 100% pure light and the darkness. So there's many shades of grey in between, and there are particular certain alien energies that have been taking the consciousness of the humanity for a long time and feeding off it. Now, this is long-standing stuff, and it will change, and it is changing. So it's up to us to get ourselves out of that. And each time we do that, we help others to do the same. Really important. If you have any questions, please put them down on the video and I will answer them. But I wanted to put this out there just so that you are aware of it. I put out a decree the other day on 9th of the 9th for Lightworkers and Starseeds in regards, or anybody that feels that they've got a link to this. And I had got some amazing feedback from people saying that they had felt that something had shifted for them on the back of that. Now, this needs to be questioned. You might not know it's even happening to you. Also, your levels of consciousness could be affected by things that you've got attached to you that you didn't realise you've got, that may have come in when you incarnated. So it's really important that you question your channels, because these things can affect how you channel. They can affect how you communicate with your higher self. They can affect how you can hear your own intuition and what your higher self wants for you. So that's really important. So I just wanted to talk about it and mention it, put the decree up for you. And if any of this lot resonates, or you get a shiver as I'm talking about it, then do the decree anyway. It doesn't do any harm, does it? Even if you're not being bothered by it, it does no harm to do it, because there could be something running silently that you don't know anything about. And that's, in my work and what I've been doing the last 10 years, have I seen silent vows, oaths, decrees, contracts running that people don't know even exist from previous lifetimes, other incarnations in parallel lives, other incarnations on another planet, all sorts of things going on. And I really don't normally get into this sort of stuff nowadays this way, or talk about this as much, but I felt it was really important that I did this today and talked about it. So I hope this has been helpful for you. And I'm on Facebook under She's Powerful. So thank you so much for listening. And if you want to know any more, just let me know. Okay, bye.